Don't practice till you get it right. Practice till you can't get it wrong. It's all about the minute detail. It's all about making sure that you say the right thing. If you phrase something differently, it has a massively different effect. Why are the submission and the discovery calls so important? Because they are the only point where you actually make any money. If you have the best marketing strategy ever and you have a killer customer service, but you are rubbish at your sales, that you are winging it, that you are just one of these people that go, I know what I'm doing, then you are hemorrhaging cash. Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Mortgage Business Mastery Podcast with me, Ash Borland. If you listen to this on a Monday, cheers. It's Friday when I'm recording this, drinking my non-alcoholic beer. No more clients after today, so this is my final thing. So I'm excited and ready to rock and roll. And in today's episode, I've got a really exciting one to talk about because I'm actually going to talk about how a client of mine, so it's a client of mine today, I've been speaking to her today, and she's now a year into working with me. And so she's a year into working with me, and I want to talk about how she has gone from effectively not making that much money to over doubling her income. She's over doubled her income. She was doing good before, but like really good now in less than 12 months. And the most important thing about this is she's actually done this without having to generate any new leads. She hasn't done a single piece of video marketing for this exponential growth for her business. To put in perspective, she's just done a case now, it completed today, so that's why we're having this conversation, or today we're recording this, and it completed, and that is over 11,000. I'll give you the exact amount, actually. I can tell you the exact amount. It is 11,000, here you go. So the actual message says, great week this week, completed the biggest case I've ever done. Total income from the mortgage protection and the fee totals £11,547. Felt so good putting all the protection on risk today. Total monthly premium of £383. The customer is so happy with everything. It definitely feels like all the hard work and determination to tweak each little aspect is really paying off. So I want to talk about how does she do it? Because and then also what can you do to maybe make those changes in your own business? So that's what I want to talk about today. So the first thing with this situation is this specific client came to me and they had been doing the job for a long time, but they felt like they were doing the job, but they weren't really getting much out of it. So they actually said that they were falling out of love with the job. They weren't sure if it was even for them anymore. And what we did was spent the time to focus on, and this is the bit that's quite different. Instead of focusing on generating leads, generating more business in regards to like outgoing, so marketing or, those type of things. So the marketing, the introducers, all of those things that we all think of, because that's what we always do, don't we? As business owners, as brokers, as anyone, we go, I know what I need more leads. If I'm making, I'm not going to give exact figures for what she's doing in this situation, but let's say I'm making 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year, and I want to make 150,000 a year, then I need to, that's not her figures, by the way, her figures are different to that, but for just an example, then we all think, well, I need more money is more business, as in more leads, more stuff. And actually that's not true. It's not true at all. And so the thing that's really interesting about how I work is I work with what we call the Mortgage Business Mastery system. It's a mortgage business mastery system. And this mortgage business mastery system specifically works on three main areas. So we have to focus on, first of all, we do sales, marketing, and customer service or customer retention. Really, they're the main things you do. Sales, marketing, customer retention. Now in the order of it would be marketing, sales, customer retention. That would be a client journey is how that would work. But that's the three things we look at. And when you have all three of these in place, the idea should be, in theory, and it has been proven in practice many, many times over. You can go and see it on my website. If you go to ashborland.com, you can see all the case studies on there. But you'll be able to see that we've proven that clients come in, you create what we call a closed loop system. So people come into your ecosystem of your business, and then you do an incredible job for them, and then they have a great customer retention on it, and they keep coming back. And not only do they come back, they refer people too. So if every client you work with gives you one client, you double your business. If every client you work with gives you two clients, you quadruple, whatever it is, double your business. So you're adding that kind of, you 3x your business. There you go. I think that's right. I'm just making that my math's not my thing. Anyway, why I'm saying this is That's the system we follow. Now, for this specific client, interestingly enough, by maybe accident or by design, it's definitely not been by pure design, but this specific client, they came in, they had business, but like I said before, many will go, I need to market, I need to get leads, but they didn't do that. What they said was, and I think it was very open and honest, which most people aren't, is they said, Ash, I need help on my process of actually doing the appointment. I've been doing this for a long time, but it's obviously not working as well as it can because I'm not getting all the right things. And this specific client was incredibly vulnerable and open to change. They were like, look, this is going to be really hard, but I know that I need to change. If I don't change, I'm going to leave. It was really like that point. So what we did is we actually ended up working on, we just did the sales bit. We've only done sales and customer retention. We haven't done any marketing up to this point. It's 12 months in. Because all we did was focus on maximizing the leads she currently had. And many of you listen to this, most people I work with, leads isn't the problem. It's you're not making the most out of the clients you have. And that means getting protection. That means cross-selling other insurances such as B&C, buildings and contents. That means getting, upselling them to solicitors. That means referring them for a survey if needed. It means charging a fee, a good fee, an honest fee, a fee that you're worth. All of these things are ways of increasing your revenue without ever having to get more leads. And this is a big mistake I see brokers make, is they think I need more business, I need more leads. And then what happens is they're doing a proc fee of 600 quid or 500 quid or whatever it may be, up, very rarely you're going to get procs over $1,000 depending on where you are in the country. Obviously there are places where you will get that, but they're getting 600, 700 quid on a proc. And then, if you're good, you might be doing a fee, 499, 495, but many waive the fee. And then lower on repeat business, all of those things, that's not enough. You're not going to then you go, okay, well, I need 20 mortgages, 30 mortgages to do that. No. What you need to do, and this is what specifically this individual did, is we went into her business and I went through it we went through it like a fine tooth comb and went through the process. Specifically this, the discovery call and the submission call and the glue between that, meaning how the client onboards from a booking link and what the contact is between the discovery call and submission. And now we just done this now, and the contact once it's even that now, and the contact once they've left. So once they've had them offered from there. So the big two pillars of this is our discovery call and submission call. And so what do I mean by this? Well, these are the two bits when you actually speak to the client. And in the business mastery method, the mortgage business mastery method, what we actually find is that what we have is there are only two times you actually see the client. And that's what you should have all the time. Any more than that is overkill. You don't need to do it. Any less than that, you're not setting something up to close it later. It's hard to close something in one call. Very difficult to do that. So especially something big like insurance or something that's relevant in insurance, to make them understand and truly help them. Because at the end of the day, insurance is helping somebody do the right thing for them. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're trying to get them to see the benefit and the value behind what you do. I'm going to take a sip. That's my beer there. Anybody, by the way, I'm not sponsored, but Freedom, best non-alcoholic beers in the world. Anyway, prove me wrong in the comments or chat or whatever. Or not, because you agree. Anyway, this is what we have this discovery call and this submission call. And what this specific client did is they went through it, the fine-tooth comb, and made sure that not that they thought there's a concept where they say, don't practice till you get it right, practice till you can't get it wrong. It's scripted. So they went through it all completely. They learned it, they practiced it, they tried it, they came back to the coaching sessions. They were like, I tried it again. This is what happened. How would I overcome this? How would I fix this? And they came back over and over and over again. I do 2 coaching calls a month with clients. So in those 2 coaching calls a month, this is 24 coaching calls. We've effectively been focused on a discovery call and a submission call. 2 1-hour calls in regards to the client. We are focused on that. Now, interestingly, I've worked with people over the years who I will talk them through a discovery call. They'll go, and this is why I'm saying this, they'll go, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I kind of do that. I kind of do that already. And that's not what we're talking about here. This specific client didn't kind of do it already. They went and learned how to do it. And once they learned how to do it, they started to seriously see like night and day changes, massive changes. That specific client, I told you the result that she just got then. When we met, hardly sell insurance in a class of maybe a £20 policy as a banging insurance policy. That's like a big one. And instead, now we're getting 380 and regularly 150, 200, regularly. And this is the thing that what I want to stress within this. And there's lots of different stuff you can look at. So is this idea of spending the right amount of time, disproportionately more, on the little things that you think don't matter, but they actually do. And so most brokers that I speak to, and maybe some I've even worked with in the past, but it happens is that they'll be like, I need to, like, oh no, I know this, I need more business, like I said, or I know this, and I'll do the discovery call and I'll learn it in a week or I'll learn it in a month. And it's kind of what I do. What they don't realize is that it's all about the minute detail. It's all about making sure that you say the right thing. If you phrase something differently, it has a massively different effect. And so you want to spend enough time on that. Another great client who does this type of thing is Anish Patel. I'm happy to mention his name on this, but Anish Patel spends a lot of time on his discovery calls and on his submission calls, disproportionately more than most. Ripley Salguero is another one of my clients. Absolutely love him to pieces. He's another one who spends a disproportionate amount of time on learning how to do the process, disproportionately more than most people. And so the things that I've noticed was and this specific client that I'm talking about today, and I'm not mentioning her name because it's an example of this, but these other ones I'm saying is what they all have is they want a process. So they first of all are receptive to the process. They are open to taking on a new process. They are not in a fixed mindset of thinking they know how to do it, because that's the biggest mistake. If you think you know, you've already failed. And I do see that with people if I work with them, is if they're like, I know everything, I'm like, you're done. Like, not me and you, it's fine. Like, I'll try, but I can see it. I'm like, nah, you're not gonna succeed at this. A little bit of knowledge. It's dangerous to know a little bit about something, but not willing to be open enough to do it. To be able to actually be open to somebody else maybe knowing more than you. So first is the process. The second thing I have is they become obsessed with it. So all of those clients, Anish, Ripley, and this individual today, and there's many others, but I'm just using those. But she specifically, she became obsessed with it. Obsessed. So like, we'd go, Ash, what do you think about this thing? What do you think if I said this thing differently, or I may have said this thing slightly wrong? Or I had another client who's very similar to this, by the way. We were watching his recordings back on him doing like game tape, watching him pitching insurance to his clients. And we watched it and critiqued it and go, okay, cool, don't say that, do say that. And it was brilliant. The people who are getting these exponentially different results, the ones that you all look at on my stories, because I do get messages, how do I do that, Ash? And I'm like, by doing the opposite to what you think. And so they're obsessed. They're process driven. They're incredibly patient. So interestingly with the patience, that's one that I struggle with patience. I've currently slipped a disc in my back. And so because of that, I have to do a load of like core exercises and stuff. And they are so slow. And I have to work my way through every single thing to slowly build it up. And it's very similar to this. It's this situation of like, I know that in a year's time, everything will be great. My core will be strong. I'll be fit and healthy again. But I'm not patient, and I need to fight my own kind of impatience, so to speak, to try and get ahead of it. I'm like, oh no, I can do it all straight away, and that's enough. I'll just dive straight back into running, and I can't. I have to do this core workout for a long time, 12 weeks. And it's exactly the same with this specific person and all the others that I'm talking about on this. They're patient. They understand that it's going to take a long time. And they understand that in the short term, they might be making these like rash decisions that I'm going to cut this or stop this or do this, but they understand that it's part of the journey. What's interesting with this though is that they understand it's part of the journey, so they are planning for that through this point. So they know when things get good, they might get bad again. But that's okay, because they're being patient with it. They're not expecting it all to happen overnight. And the other thing they do as well is they stay on target. And so what I mean by that is, it's kind of what I was just saying then, is they don't get distracted by other things. So they don't get pulled into this idea of, oh, this software is cool, or this concept is really good, or someone's posted this about social media and I've read that this algorithm has changed, and Ash, tell me about it, which by the way, I'm happy to talk to people about. But these ones who are doing exceptionally well are the ones who come to the calls going, Ash, I want to go through my discovery call again. Let's talk about it. I want to review this thing today. I want you to give me feedback on it. I want to try and look at my sales pitch. I want to try and look at, my content delivery, whatever it may be. And specifically with this, it's in that sales point. It's in those discovery call and submission calls. Those are the bits you make your money. So this is the thing that's important. That obsession, the process-driven mindset, an obsession-driven mindset, very patient, and ability to stay on target. That's what they have. So why are the submission and the discovery calls so important? Because they are the only point where you actually make any money. The marketing is only going to drive brand awareness. Brand awareness is going to drive leads, or prospects is what I call them. So it's going to drive prospects. And then customer service, which is all of the follow-up and all of the stuff you close at the end, that's going to drive more prospects from referral. So one drives brand prospects and demand prospects, and the other one drives referral prospects. But both of those are prospect-driven activities. They are lead generation tactics. But the discovery call and submission call, which I class as the sales, they are the income generating part. And so they are the bit that if you have the best marketing strategy ever and you have a killer customer service, but you are rubbish at your sales, that you are winging it, that you are just one of these people that go, I know what I'm doing, then you are hemorrhaging cash. Absolutely hemorrhaging it. And that's why those two calls are so important. One to set it up and one to close it down. And both of these calls, interestingly, the way it works is that when I say set it up and close it down, that's exactly what happens. In the discovery call, we are setting up insurance with specific wording and phrases that we absolutely know we're going to say again in the submission call. So then what that does is create trust, because it's like, oh, it's the same thing you said in the submission call. Oh, that when you bring up an anchoring of a percentage to an income when it comes to insurance, they're like, yeah, I know, because that's what you said before, 5% of your income. That's what I'm expecting. You're already kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen next. And when that happens, that sounds like you know what you're doing, because people remember it. And they might not remember you said it, they just remember that's something they heard. So that's why these things are so important. We need to get them as gelled in as possible. We also need to take them through an emotional roller coaster, an emotional cycle of change. And so we need to take them through that and get them to see you as a trusted authority, to see you as the person they want to work with. And you do that by taking them, like I said, through it's 4 steps of an emotional kind of purchase, so at the end they feel like you are their broker. And when you ask them at the end, you also close them. You actually say in the discovery call, would you like to work with me? You're that direct. But you can only do that when you've got all the other things in line. They're like dominoes. All of that stuff only works, and this is why coaching is so valuable. And this is not a pitch, by the way. This is actually opposite. It's one of those things that when people say to me, well, everything I teach, I talk about on podcasts or content all over the place. I don't hide anything. It's not some sort of secret method that people think. Like, that does my head in when people think that that's the case. We live in like the era of AI and technology. If you are buying information, that's just not going to happen now. What you're buying when you work with a coach is implementation, meaning someone to actually, and accountability, someone to show you how to actually implement it and then keep you accountable while you do, and then be specific to you, because it's not that you have an information problem, it's that you have a motivation problem. It's that you're not willing to do the things that this specific client did, where they keep going again and again and again. And if you're not that way, then that's why you bring a coach in to help you do that. But the mistake people make is they bring a coach in and then they default to their natural behavior again. That's what you don't want to do. You want to continue pushing through and getting obsessed with these things. If you obsess on the little stuff, the big stuff will take care of itself. It really is that simple. But if you don't, if you move away and you go, I need to do these different, the way it looks and the algorithm then you will lose it. And you'll look at these other people and you'll do this thing. And it's my favorite message to receive from people, because I get it a lot. And when I get it, I go, it's like a, what's it moment? It's like that. Perfect time to take a swig of my beer. So it's that type of moment. When I get that kind of message, I always want to hit that button when I see it. And what it is it's the message of, I don't get how insert X advisor is doing so much better than me. I'm a lot better than they are. And then I get them on my discovery call and they'll go, I know I could be better than that person. And I think, do you? Because what you don't know is what that person does behind the scenes. What you don't know is the fact that you're saying that probably is the reason why you're not as good as you think. And I'm not trying to hate on people for that, because if you are that person, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself and go, I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be the person who actually is going to make changes, lasting changes in my business. And that means it's going to be hard. And I've got to obsess on the things that people want to obsess on. Don't want to obsess on, sorry. It's lonely in the extra mile. That's what I'd say. It's lonely in the extra mile. That's today's episode, guys. I could rant about this forever. Not rant about. I love it. I'm just very, very proud of this specific client for not having any marketing whatsoever and doing what she's done. And there are many clients who've done a very similar thing, but this specific transformation is taking someone from doing okay but not where they wanted to be to doing exceptionally well. And you could, if she can do it, you can too. And I'm very proud of it. And I think it's really good to share that. And it's good to share that the secrets behind it is the stuff that you don't actually realize, which is being obsessed with the process. If you obsess on the process, to be honest, it would be impossible for you to not succeed.